And welcome to Writer's Life, a place where you get sight, sound, smells, taste, and that particular writer's life, where you get the truth about the writer's life. So I took a week off, a little more than that, between vids, or did I? Yeah, about a week. Cause it's just been crazy. Like this since I got home. I've been home 10 days and it's been like every day's had something else going on that has just been nutty. Um, but good nutty. Making plans. Um, Troy Lambert and I are putting together this anthology for Down and Out Books called True Pulp. That's the first one. Um, and we've had to go through contracts with the publisher and all sorts of stuff like that, but it's basically almost done. There's going to be a Kickstarter for it. We're going to be interviewing authors, stuff like that. So just a lot of planning is going into it. And we're going to be doing like a series of these, maybe at least one a year, probably two a year. First one, like I said, is called True Pulp. Second one could be, we're not sure yet, but it could be True Suspense, or it could be True Mystery, could be True Western, whatever. But that true thing is going to be our brand, like kind of like True Romance. Remember that one? And Down and Out will design the covers so that you recognize the brand right away as like one of the true anthologies. So that's very cool. And we're always going to have, we're always going to include a certain number of, I mean, if their stories are good, we're going to include a certain number of Down and Out authors. To act is kind of like, not only everybody gets paid, but like, and everybody also gets royalties and stuff like that. But it'll be good publicity for the books they have that are being published by Down and Out. So it's a win-win-win, right? So that's been going on, and we've been having meetings at night, whatever, because we're literally, one's up here in New York, one's way down in Lutz, Florida, and one's almost all the way to California, actually in Idaho. So like trying to get it all together, you can imagine. But with the magic of the internet, it happens. So here's one for you. I'm eating dinner last night, and I feel like a snap, and a tooth came out. Just broke. It broke. Unfortunately, that's one of the side effects of my treatment. It destroyed some of my teeth. Now I think it would have happened anyway. I just have bad teeth, like certain. The front ones are fine. It's just the back teeth are like, ugh. So I don't know. I don't even know why you need to know that. I'm just saying. But it was a tooth that was I spent $2,000 on for a root canal. And I think now that I think about it, it was probably 20 years ago, and the guy said you're going to get like 15 to 20 years out of this tooth, and then it's going to go. So I was like, you don't believe them at the time, but like he was right. I got about 20 years out of it. So maybe, who knows? Quickly, I wanted to talk about painting yourself into a corner because I'm about to post an essay on Substack about this. A lot of people confuse writer's block with painting yourself into a corner. And I use that image like, the dude, you've heard of the story before, the dude who's like painting and painting and painting his bedroom, not really thinking about it. Next thing you know is he's in the corner and he can't get out because it's all wet paint. Like, so what's he do? And a lot of times that can happen in fiction. Doesn't happen to me, or used to maybe, but doesn't anymore. And what you got to do, if you're writing, first of all, if you're a thriller writer, and even a humbly or a mildly successful one like me, I like painting myself into a corner. I mean, I like that because it creates tension, and like I want the reader to be like, how the hell is he going to get out of this? There's no way he's getting out of this. Like, and then cut the chapter or whatever. And but there's always a way to get out. Always a way to get out. But here's the thing: it's got to be believable. It can't be like a Sam Shepard play from the 70s or 60s where it's like Deus Ex Machina and like he can just boom walk through a wall. Like he used to do that. Like I don't know how to end it, so I'm just gonna have the main character blast through a wall and it's over. You could do that back in the 60s and 70s because it was a time of great experimentation. People don't want experimentation now. They don't want Richard Brodigan anymore. They want entertainment. They want short chapters. Some people are switching to even shorter books. So like you don't have to do the 60,000 word thing anymore. You can do 40. Like Harvey Stambro writes 40,000 word novels that sell pretty well, I guess. And you know that's he swears by it, and I agree because from the old pulp magazines, they would always publish like a short novel, like a 40,000 word novel, something like that. Anyway, I don't want to get off on a tangent, but anyway, that's what people are looking for now, especially if they're reading on their phone. Um, are people still reading on Kindles? I guess they must be, right? Um, like my buddy Joel Fishman said, and who's also both these guys, Stanbro and Joel, are contributing to Pulp, True Pulp. But anyway, be that as it may, like Joel was saying, like my Kindle's collecting dust. He went back to reading paper books. I still do both. But in any case, people are, you know, their attention is competing. Oh my God, wake up. Um, their attention span is competing with TikTok and Instagram. Like, I mean, how many times do you like get stuck watching Instagram videos like popcorn, one after the other, one after the other, and then you're like, this is gonna be the last one, and then I'm gonna switch over to reading. Like it happens. The next thing you know, an hour's going by. So, in my opinion, like the tighter, the more entertaining the chapters can be, the better. And that sometimes includes painting yourself into a corner. Um, you want that same effect for the reader. You want them to finish a chapter and then be like, I gotta, like I gotta read the next one. I just have to, or I'm not gonna be able to sleep. That's what you're going for. That's what you have to do now. If you're gonna have a chapter that's 30 pages long and you're like falling asleep in the middle of it, and you're not gonna remember it the next day, and you're gonna have to start, then no, that's not gonna cut it anymore. It's just not. I don't even know if publishers are aware of this. Most of them are so out to lunch and still living in the 20th century that they just don't get it. But at least at Bear Media, we get it. Down and Out gets it. Short chapters. Paint yourself into a corner, maybe. So how do you? But the point of this is, how do you get out of it? How do you get out of that corner without having to step on the wet paint? Um, if you're just like stuck and you just can't figure it out, check out my essay. It'll be on Substack along with this video. I think I use the example of like, all right, like the main character is surrounded by police and they all have the guns trained on him. And you're like, how's he going to get out of this? He's either going to have to like maybe pull a gun on the cops and die by cop suicide. But what if it's one of your characters, like say Dick Moonlight, who you want to keep bringing back and back and back? You don't want him to die. So how does he get out of it? And then I give several examples on, like what could logically happen. So here's what you do. If you're sitting there staring at your computer, not sure how you're going to do it, just get up, go for a walk. If it's raining out, walk around your apartment or your house or whatever, and just think about what would logically happen next to get the character out of that situation. Maybe one of the cops drops his gun and it's enough of a distraction where the other three cops like turn and look at him and Moonlight character bolts, right? That works. You can write that. It's believable. Um, Something like that. Like just what could logically happen next? That so that your reader believes it, and then write another chapter, and then get them kind of stuck again, and build up that tension. Build up that tension. Um, Now, I'm not saying every chapter's got to be a cliffhanger. Not at all. I also like chapters that end like on an irony. Um, could be a funny irony. It could be a serious irony. Um, you know, uh, Maybe Moonlight gets stood up by some beautiful woman who he was convinced was all into him and stuff. Because he's always perpetually in love, but unlucky in love at the same time, stuff like that. Kind of like somebody else I know. Anyway. Um, So anyway, that's just I just wanted to talk about that a little bit because I don't, people confuse like writer's block where you just can't write, which I don't have. I just sometimes I come up with a title and I just go for it, or I don't even have a title yet and I just start writing and I have a character in mind and I just go and I see where stories take me. The the new Marconi I'm writing now, I actually have two Marconis waiting in the wings to be published. Um, and that's on me. They're just doing me no good on my hard drive. It's not doing you any good. Um, that's on me because they're bare media books. So I'm trying to go through the bones now and get that edited and get that out there. And then I'll have two more, including this one I'm working on now, the body. But this one I started it in Italy because I had finished the Chase Baker I was working on. I still had like a week and a half to go or something like that. So I started it. Now I'm 120 pages into it or something like that. Like I said, I've had a lot of distractions this week, so I haven't been getting in the amount of fiction I normally do. Only about maybe 1,000 words a day tops, sometimes less. But hopefully, all that will end tomorrow. Um, but I still have no. I'm 120 pages into it, and I mean, I'm starting to see the light on how it might end, but in a way, I don't even want to know how it's going to end. I like it better that way. It's like because then like if like Dean Wesley Smith says, who's also going to be in Pulp, True Pulp, along with his wife Kristen Catherine Rush. Like he says, like why would you want to know the ending of your book? It's like reading. Like why would you want to know the end of the book that you're reading? Where's the surprise, right? Why would you want to know the end of a movie? So anyway, I'm all over the place today. What else is going on? Looks like I'm going to be making a return to the magazines. Um, I don't this I'm not going to give you any more information than that, but I've been negotiating with an editor for a very good magazine, and it looks like I will be heading back that way a little bit to some journalism. I get nervous when I don't have like a secondary, call it part-time nonfiction journalism / content gig. You know, it I have very specific needs. It can't be like a full-time job. I don't That's not because then it would get in the way of my fiction, right? But it has to be fun. It has to be something I love. It has to pay well. There has to be some notoriety in it. I need a byline. Um, and it has to be a stable gig, of course. So like I had, it's tough for me to find these because it's like the perfect gig. Like maybe it take you a couple hours a day. That's it. But the pay is good. So I think I've finally found such a gig. Now we have a meeting on Friday. I'll let you know how that goes. It's totally up my alley, and I know I can do it like with my eyes closed and enjoy it. So say novena for me that it all goes well. All right, which is perfect for Holy Week. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm hoping to have. I've been talking to Kristen Lamb to have her on. I haven't done it yet, but maybe tomorrow. I gotta email her. And Troy Lambert will be coming on soon too. He's my partner in True Pulp, um, and he'll be able to talk more about it. All right, you guys. Hope everybody's doing well. And let me check the chat box. No one knows I'm on. I don't think anybody even expects me to be on because I've been so inconsistent. Let's see. Nope. All right. But this will be up on my Substack, along with the essay. I'm painting oneself into one's corner. All right, you guys. Ciao, ciao.